Saint Germain in the membrane, insane is the end game. Cure sacrifices, goats and goats sing. Listen to me, try to believe, because I deceive, I deceive.
Indigenous insectoids weaving you the void, drought in your brain, making you insane. Wrapping up Benjamin Fulford, living the absurd like a blue avian nerd, keeping the lines blurred. Captain Mark Richards, a secret space program grifter, getting married while in prison, making you listen, create a new religion, doing the reptilian, making you forget my sins. Super soldier tucks in prison, Nordic and Draco, shape shifting in my Winnebago. Indigenous insectoids weaving you the void, drown in your brain, making you insane. Wrapping the Benjamin forward, living the absurd like a blue aviator, keeping the lines wrapping like Benjamin forward, living the absurd like a blue aviator, keeping the lines blurred. Rapping like Benjamin Fulford. Word. Extraterrestrial hybridized DNA. Don't need to worry about tooth decay. Kevin Spacey and his clone are feeling alone. Men who stare at goats. The real society road. Super Soldier Sunday, just another fun day. 75 years on Mars, lying about the stars. Captain Richard charms like Charles Manson's gun. Liars in the sun. Liars in the sun. Montauk's in the sun. Montauk, super soldier talk, super space program. Let's jam. Montauk, super soldier talk, super space program. Let's jam.
All right, welcome to Not My Rabbit Hole. Thanks for tuning in today. The show where we dive into the stories, subcultures, and belief systems that shape the edges of our collective imagination. I am your host, Terry Joyce, and today we're going deep into the most peculiar and expansive conspiracy universes out there, the world of super soldiers, and the man who helped bring that world into the spotlight, James Rink. We'll be right back.
Laughing loud all for the love, but baby, that's not my rabbit hole. He ain't no Saint Germain, no crime, no name. He plays the game sharp as a flame. Who's to blame? paying for the stolen fame. A shadow dance in the devil's frame. Caught in a rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on a stripper pole. Laughing loud, all for the lows, but baby, that's not my rabbit hole. City lights and sirens scream, truth and lies blend like a dream. Wicked smiles, a clever scheme, chasing gold in the neon gleam. Go in the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud, all for the lows, but baby, that's not my rabbit hole. Fast, can't find the ground. Echoes of chaos all around. You chose this dance, this mad parade, but not every choice gets accolades. Go in the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud, all for the lows, but baby, that's not my rabbit hole. Spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud, all for the lows, but baby, that's not my rabbit hole. City lights and sirens scream, truth and lies blend like a dream. Wicked smiles, a clever scheme, chasing gold in the neon gleam. Going down the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud, all for the lows, but baby, that's not my rabbit hole.
Not my rabbit hole. I'm going to just kind of expand this in the background while I give you a little bit more background on what we're going to talk about today. Now, many people may not have heard of James Rink. He wasn't a household name, but in a corner of the internet where secret space programs, alien human hybrids, and psychic warfare are discussed as matter-of-factly as weather reports, Rink was a central figure. For over a decade, he ran a platform called Super Soldier Talk, a YouTube channel and blog dedicated to interviewing people who claim to have been part of an ultra-covert military operations involving mind control, genetic augmentation, and extraterrestrial contact. Today, we will explore who James Rink was, what the super soldier mythos is all about, and why these kinds of narratives thrive in online communities. We'll also take a look at the line between belief and storytelling, trauma and myth-making, and ask what it means when a conspiracy movement begins to take on the shape of a subculture or even a religion. So in the background here, I have it, I have it on silent, but I just want to give a little bit of, some background. This is from Oki's Wild, what is it this called? This is Oki's channel that did a documentary. It's called How I Infiltrated a Bizarre Conspiracy Cult. And this channel did a documentary about it. And he actually said some really sweet things about James Rink. I mean, even though he criticized him on X, he posted that although I made a video pulling a prank on James, I genuinely liked him. He was he had a sincerity about him that made him very endearing. R.I.P. James Rink. So that was because James Rink has passed away. I actually did pull up his obituary, and you know what, I want to show his obituary to everybody. Let me just pause this one right here for a moment, and let's look at his obituary. So I'm going to stop the screen because there's things about James Rink in the obituary that I really had never, I was not familiar with. And so there was, this is right here, James Michael Rink. This was posted. He was born on March 8th, 1980, and he passed away November 30th, 2025. It says James Michael Rink passed away on November 30th, 2025. He leaves behind him a legacy of kindness, loyalty, and creativity that touched the lives of many. He was born on March 8, 1980, to Richard Rink and the late Marie Rink in Charlotte, North Carolina. James was a multifaceted individual who dedicated his life to various passions. He described himself as a mediation practitioner, research author, and video producer, reflecting a commitment of the sharing of knowledge. His educational journey was marked by notable achievements. He earned a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration with a focus on finance, along with an associate degree in horticulture technology. As an Eagle Scout, he exemplified leadership and dedication from a young age. In his professional life, James utilized his horticultural degree to design and create gardens, merging his love for nature with his creative talents. He became a proficient horticulturist, exhibiting a profound understanding of plants, including their Latin names and the conditions necessary for their growth. His passion for horticulture and gardening was matched by his love for various forms of dance, which he practiced in classes, reveling in the joy of movement and expression. Family was central to James' life. He created cherished memories during yearly family beach trips and took immense pleasure in helping his father, Richard, maintain the yard and decorate their homes for the holidays. James' commitment to family extended to his nieces and nephews as he consistently attended their birthday parties, sports events, and musical performances, embodying the role of a supportive uncle with enthusiasm. James' personality radiated warmth and humor. He was known for his kindness and loyalty, traits that earned him a large circle of friends. Those who knew him often remarked on his vibrant spirit. He had a laugh that could light up any gathering, often serving as the life of the party. Among his proudest accomplishments was the establishment of a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping others, showcasing his desire to make a positive impact on the community around him. He is survived by his father, and it goes through everybody who was survived. James' legacy of kindness, loyalty, and joy will continue to inspire those who knew him. His impact on his family and his community will not be forgotten, and he will be remembered with love and affection. A memorial service will be held in January with further details to be announced at a later date. And here's some pictures of him when he was a young man. And I kind of want to just go through these with family. And there he is graduating. He passed away at the age of 45. So he did not live. Now, here's interesting. Here he is. And we're going to get into some of this later on today. But he was a Trump supporter, and he was also promoted the 17th letter of the alphabet, which later on in this segment, we will get to that part and cover that as well. So, but we're going to go on from here. So, and he's got some interesting pictures. Here's a pose from his dancing here. God, he's a great shot. And there he is celebrating his birthday. Okay, so I wanted to share that part with you. I'm going to stop the screen share here. We have some people in the chat. And John says that's going to leave a void too. I wonder who will step it up. I've wondered about that too. I've wondered about like what's going to happen, because he was at, called, one of the biggest, one of the biggest super soldier platform that there was out there. Yeah. Right. That was his trade. James seemed sincere. He seemed a bit lost himself. However, he helped others. That's Mr. My Words. John says, notice there's never anyone from their community who send condolences. They have been common with all those grifters. Well, I'm going to cover a little. What has happened is that a lot of the people are saying that he died because of directed energy weapons and things like this. So there's like a conspiracy around it. He may have had some generic illness. He died of a heart attack. He was having some organ failure. He was sick. I heard that he was given like a 3-month, he wasn't going to live much more than 3 months. But it's kind of, they said he had Graves' disease, which is a disease of, it's not the adrenal gland, but it's the pituitary gland, I think, that goes too fast. Or maybe it's not pituitary, it's, I'd have to look it up, but it has to do with having your heart go too fast and things like this. He organized the meetings and events. Yes, he organized a lot of meetings and events. That's what John says. Yeah, of course it was dues. Right. Yeah, right. He looked ill and paler. Yeah. And he sold a lot of devices as well. So I kind of want to show you guys one of his dance videos for a moment. I did do an edit of that. This is a compilation of like of his dance here. So I'm going to play this really quick. And here we go. video that I made. I took some of on Instagram. If you go to his Instagram, you will see all of his dances and all of the moves that he made as well. And so now I'm going to just go ahead and play. I'm going to play this while I'm talking about him. Oh wait, I've got the wrong tab here. This is the one that I want, actually. Let's see, what did I do here? Oh my goodness. Where am I? Okay, share this tab. Okay. So here we go. I'm just going to go let this play in the background while we're talking, and while I'm talking to some of you guys here. John says he looked really healthy. Yeah, he did look really healthy right there as well. He really did. I think I agree. I think we can also make an educational assumption that he may have been gay. That might be a possibility. I'm not sure, but yeah. Wow, which may explain the drive with the super soldier thing. Oh, that's yeah. Okay, I will give you that. Haha. Yeah. Maybe he did never marry. Not to say that if you never marry, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're gay, but it's I guess you could say because of the dancing and things like that. I'm not really sure what his sexuality was. Now, I never really met James Rink, although he was adjacent. I'm trying to remember if he had a show on Revolution Radio back then, but he was part of the super soldier summits that they were doing via production produced by Lorian Fenton, and that connection. So he kind of came. He was definitely there in the super soldier summit that happened in Henderson, Nevada, and I do remember Stephen D. Kelly talking to him and having conversations and being in connection with him as well. Now, I just wanted to mention again some of the things that have been speculated surrounding his death. James Rink's death has not only brought grief to his followers, but also sparked extensive speculation and varied interpretations within the community. Here's how different groups are processing his passing. There is a martyrdom and spiritual interpretations. Many of Rink's supporters see his death in almost mythic terms. They speak of him as a heroic figure whose sole mission was completed. Comments like, "You are back home and safe," suggest that a belief that James' spirit has returned to a higher plane after fulfilling his purpose on earth. There is an outpouring of love and gratitude with followers saying he did more than enough for humanity. Some have even suggested that Rink continues his work on a higher density or in the afterlife. In memorial services, there were moments of silence and metaphysical prayers, treating Rink not just as a friend lost, but also a fallen soldier in a cosmic battle. This spiritual framing provides comfort to his fans, reinforcing the narrative that his soul graduated or was called back to source after a job well done. There are a lot of conspiracy theories and suspicion. A large portion of the SSP and UFO disclosure community suspects foul play in Rink's untimely illness and death. The timing and severity of his health collapse raised eyebrows, and Rink himself in his final weeks voiced there is no medical reason his liver should be in such a weakened condition, given his healthy lifestyle, and the theorized that years of daily MyLab injections or even a covert heart attack type weapon might have been used on him in late September. After his passing, these suspicions have only grown louder. Close supporters flatly state that James was targeted in his Super Soldier Conference in Orlando on October 2025 by DO-directed energy weapons, which they blame for inducing his sudden heart failure. Veronica Swift darkly noted in her eulogy that when the occult overlords want to take someone out of commission, they can and they do, implying Rink was taken out by hidden enemies because he was revealing too much. Similarly, Researcher Miles Johnson mentioned that the possibility of poisoning, as noted earlier. On Reddit and forums, commenters share his view. I think his death was due to targeting over time. Many researchers in the UFO paranormal often were taken out or are taken out. It's important to note that these claims are speculative and unproven, but they are widely believed in Rink's circle. To his followers, Rink's fate aligns with patterns of whistleblowers mysteriously falling ill, reinforcing their worldview that shadowy forces silenced him. And this happens after almost anybody that dies in conspiracy world, from, let's say, Isaac Cappy, Tracy Twyman, Max Spears, you name it. It's always their death is not, oh, they had an actual physical element that had nothing to do with what they were saying online. It's always something covert that takes somebody out. And so from a skeptic and a critic's perspective, outside the believer community, more skeptical observers have cautioned against jumping to supernatural conclusions, yet even they acknowledge the unusual aspects. Okay, some people aren't. I am not one of those people, so just so you know that. Some skeptics simply attribute Rink's death to unfortunate health issues, possibly an undiagnosed condition or stress. There hasn't been a huge mainstream skeptic coverage, as Rink wasn't a household name, but a few commenters on social media noted the event. For example, one UFO news account reports Rink's matter-of-factly, including that he claimed to be part of SSP and was targeted by DEW weapons at the last conference. So there are concerns for the future. Rink's death has also prompted a reflection on the community of Super Soldier Talk and related projects. He was not only a personality, but an organizer of conferences. And so what it looks like, in summary, right? The death of James Rink has reverberated through the niche world of secret space program enthusiasts and conspiracy theorists, confirmed to have died from sudden cardiac issues on November 30th. So he passed away on the 30th of November. Rink's passing is both a personal loss to friends and family. Rink's legacy clearly endures in the movement of the movement he fostered. Whether that movement can continue, whether the questions surrounding his death will ever be conclusively answered, are things that only time will tell for now. So I'm going to go here in the chat and just look at some of the things that you guys have been saying. And, I've got like a few things that I do want to show to you today as well. So let me see what you guys are saying here. I need to get my, darn it. I thought I had it out here. Oh, here it is. I just want to be able to scroll a little easier here when I'm going to get my mouse going here. I didn't have it. Here we go. Okay. So Karen says, I kind of thought that too, Terry. Not that there's anything wrong with it. Okay, yeah. I know what you guys are talking about. This is where it loses me, comparing him to a fallen soldier and sword. Yeah, it loses me too, John, as well. Because there are a lot of discrepancies that I have. I had with James Rink in what he was doing and who he was putting on his forums and the legitimacy of it. And when you do watch this, I'm just showing some background footage of Oki's weird stories. And, I think maybe I will show a little bit about it, but this documentary filmmaker went in and basically charted what the secret space program entailed. And a lot of the images that you're looking right here, the stories that his mythos. So let's start with the basics. The idea of a super soldier isn't new. It's a familiar trope from comic books, science fiction, and action movies. Enhanced warriors with superior strength, speed, or psychic ability often are built into secret labs by shadowy agencies. Think Captain America, the Bourne Identity, or even the Spartans from Halo. But the twist in the super soldier mythos is this: some people believe it's not fiction. According to James Rink and the people he interviewed, secret government programs have been creating these enhanced humans for decades. They tell stories of being abducted as children, subjected to trauma-based mind controls, genetically modified, trained in underground bases, or even off-planet colonies. Some say they served 20 years on Mars. Others claim they fought in interdimensional wars, were age regressed, and returned to Earth with no conscious memory of their service until fragments begin to surface later in life. Like, for example, one of the first videos I ever saw of James Rink way back when, he was selling this little black cube, and he was talking to a woman who was like a MyLab victim and was used as a baby breeding farm, her uterus and impregnations and MK Ultra and all these things. And he gave her this cube. But at that time he was selling a cube. I have a website. He has a business that he coined with a lot of these different devices, and we're going to take a look at that here in a moment. So these are not just anonymous internet stories. These are long form interviews, hours of video content where guests recount vivid, often harrowing details of their experience. Rink, soft-spoken and empathetic, gave them space to speak. He rarely challenged their stories. Instead, he validated them, built a platform that offered a community, and connected dots across testimonies to construct a sprawling hidden narrative of breakaway civilizations, hybrid genetics, and a cosmic struggle. And so, let me take this one out. And so here is, the how I infiltrated a bizarre conspiracy cult. And, I want to kind of start it around here. Let's start it like around here where he's kind of showing the background of how this works. So I'm going to click it back to here and just I'm going to give it a little banner. I think he does a really good coverage. So what this documentary filmmaker went in is he discovered this basically a folklore that there was these certain things that were said within the super soldier community that a lot of people repeated. And again, this is fair use, and we're just going to show a little bit to help educate the public and kind of give a background on James Rink. So here we go.
If you ever encounter someone like this, it's possible that they believe that they are part of the secret space program. The secret space program is a conspiracy theory which has grown in popularity within the past decade. There are YouTube channels, social media groups, and entire conferences dedicated to a shared belief that humanity has already traveled to the far reaches of space, and that a shadowy world government has been hiding this truth from the masses. A lot of the people who buy into this theory also believe that they were abducted and forced to serve in the secret space program against their will. This isn't a LARP, or an ARG, or a giant sci-fi influenced role-playing game. No. These people genuinely believe this stuff, and their community is getting bigger by the day. I wouldn't be surprised if in a few years, this overtakes Flat Earth as the most ridiculed conspiracy theory by the general population. And that's because it's way, way crazier. I was put onto this by a friend of mine who goes by the handle Vapes for Christ. Here's us talking about it on a Discord call.
So, I was listening to this podcast called The Unexplained of Howard Hughes. It's basically like the UK's equivalent to Coast to Coast. It's on the radio as well. And they just had this one guy in there I saw. His name was
Okay, so John is saying, I'm sorry to cut you guys off, but John is saying, did you ever see the response show James did to Oki? I'll try to find it. I did see some of it. I don't have it. If you can find it, please click it because I'll play it. But yeah, I think if I can remember right, he said that he had a gargoyle attached to his voice box or something like that. He said that about this filmmaker. Yes. Yeah.
Captain Randy Kramer. Like, he was saying stuff like he was actually a genetically enhanced super soldier made in a lab in the late 1960s for a secret space program where he'd be battling aliens on Mars for the Mars Defense Force. And the more I looked into this, he's not alone. There's like a whole community of people that claim they've also been part of this program.
Randy lived on the planet Mars for 17 years, where he said there were approximately 6 to 7 million people living, including various ET races.
So I was genetically engineered from the ground up, tinkered with some extraterrestrial hybridized DNA to, be smarter, faster, stronger for soldiering abilities. Where I spent a little over 17 years in the MDF, which is the Mars Defense Force. I was in the infantry there on the ground, mostly scuffling with indigenous reptoids and indigenous insectoids territorially, mostly really to test military equipment.
There are a lot of interesting characters in the SSP/Super Soldier world, such as Dwight Eisenhower's great-granddaughter, Laura Magdalene Eisenhower, James Casbolt, a self-proclaimed former MI6 agent who's now in prison for trying to blackmail 2 million euros out of his Super Center heiress ex-wife, Haley Major, and Mark Richards, who's also in prison, not for blackmail this time, but instead for robbery and murder in the mid-1980s. He was also bizarrely plotting a paramilitary takeover of his county in order to turn it into King Arthur's court with himself as a king. Yeah, that's a thing. Within the community, these people are known as whistleblowers, individuals who risk their lives to disclose sensitive information about their time in the secret space program. Initially, I was struck by how these so-called whistleblowers spoke with such earnestness while claiming to have lived out grand stories akin to Z-grade science fiction. And more strikingly was how many people seemed to believe them.
There is a secret space program which is funded by our taxes. We pay for our own enslavement. There are factions in space. They have anti-gravity propulsion system, anything you can think of, time travel, manipulating consciousness, it's all real.
When I first started looking to this community, I considered making a video about it, but I scrapped the idea fairly quickly. At the time, my idea was to make a video simply exploring the whistleblowers and the conspiracy theory, but I decided against it as I was more in the mood to work on something more ambitious and grand. So I set it aside and worked on a handful of other projects instead. However, there was a part of me that kept thinking about it. I found myself watching SSP videos during my free time, reading articles and browsing their community's forums. Eventually, it became my favorite pastime, and it was something that I was doing every single day. And what really intrigued me about it was it just kept getting crazier and crazier. And that's how I found my new favorite YouTube channel, Super Soldier Talk, which is run by a guy named James Rink. He's been doing it for 13 years, and he's been a hardcore believer of it for even longer than that. I found myself really drawn to James, especially his demeanor. I don't mean to ridicule the guy, but I genuinely just find him amusing.
So I am a super soldier. I've been involved in the secret space program for at least 330 years. I say that with a lot of hesitation because some of these projects, they have time compression zones where you're outside of time and the time is going by a little bit slower than the rest of reality. They use re-aging tech, different cloning bodies. There's different techniques on how they can re-age us and reuse us. I spent at least 75 years on Mars.
Anyway, James runs the most popular YouTube channel in the community. It consists of interviews he conducts with secret space program experiencers from around the world. The guests on James' show all claim to be victims of the secret space program. The roles that they were assigned to in the secret space program vary. Some are shapeshifters.
So today we have David Lotherington, who is an Akashic reader, healer, and telepath. And he also remembers being in a facility that trained his shapeshifting abilities, in which I was also a participant of. He recalls experiences as a super soldier in Kruger and has done training missions with zombies and vampires.
example, there was one kid that turned into a turtle. There was a female that turned into an eagle, and that was used for surveillance. I myself was a blue wolf. There was another being that turned into a cat.
Others are cyborgs and off-world medics.
Oh, I mean, I started working on Mars. I was looking for bugs, they call them, mostly mantises. Mantises were really good at genetics, and they wanted like information from them and stuff like that, genetic information.
And there's even She-Hulks.
Both dolphins and hulks, we can go through walls, go through portals. We can echolocate, but some people call it bilocation.
Okay, so I'm gonna like kind of skip it ahead. Like he's got like these different people, and then here's where he formulates what he did.
So if my goal still sounds too vague to you, I set up a criteria for how I was going to accomplish it. A set of rules, if you will. 1. Make up a compelling story about my time in the secret space program, which has to follow the established lore of the conspiracy. 2. Get onto a major platform within the community as a whistleblower and share my experience. I developed this criteria after thinking what's required to become an SSP whistleblower. Obviously, evidence of being in the secret space program isn't necessary at all. All that's needed is a story which follows the lore, and, after that, I just have to appear on a major platform and share.
So there's a lore to this, right? I mean, there's a lore. There's a conspiracy to this.
I decided that I would aim to appear on James's channel. Like I said, it's the most popular.
There's an agreed lore. Like it's a believed, like if you can say you've done these things, boom, you're automatically considered a super soldier.
Popular YouTube channel in the community, and it's even had the illustrious Captain Randy Kramer on it twice. Unlike Captain Randy Kramer or Corey Good, I was unlikely to get my own show on Gaia.com. So I settled for a more manageable, but still difficult task. To increase the difficulty, I chose not to use my own YouTube channel as a way to influence my way onto the show. Therefore, I needed to find a way to ingratiate myself with James, and hope that he decided to invite me on as a guest himself. But before I did that, I needed to create a compelling story. In order to craft my narrative, I began to study the plethora of interviews available on Jay's channel, as well as the SSP lore extensively.
Okay, open up your textbooks, It's time for me to start explaining the lore behind the secret space program. Now, I'm going to try and do this as fast as possible. Okay, so it started right before World War II, when the Nazis were interested in mysticism.
Before World War II, the Nazis, who were interested in mysticism and alternative views, searched the planet for fantastical powers. They found Maria Orsak, a medium and leader of the Vril Society, who channeled Nordic and Draco reptilians who offered the Nazis the schematics behind anti-gravity technology and UFOs. The Draco reptilians told the Nazis about ancient alien technology hidden in Antarctica, and in 1938, the Nazis traveled there. With this newfound tech, the Nazis created the Die Glocke, aka the Bell, which was capable of space and time travel. In 1942, the Nazis were already in space. There they built a base on the dark side of the moon. And by 1950, the Nazis were on Mars. Despite having access to this advanced alien tech, the Germans still lost World War II because apparently the Germans who possessed the technology did not agree with Hitler's regime, so there was a split.
The new Schwabenländers didn't want to support Hitler at the end of the war because they considered him insane and the final solution. So there was already a split.
In SSP lore, the Nazis capable of space and time travel became the Fourth Reich, and they pissed off to Antarctica in space while refusing to provide any support to the Third Reich Nazis during the war. Anyway, the evil globalists, i.e. the Cabal and the Illuminati or something, engaged in a Cold War against the Space Germans. Meanwhile, the Space Germans were also fighting the Draco reptilians and various alien life forms in space. The Antarctic/Space Germans would be responsible for abducting people to serve in joint black projects between themselves, the Cabal, aliens, and pretty much anybody with any power at all. This was the beginning of the secret space program. By the 1960s, the Space Germans created Notwaffen, aka Dark Fleet, and began an aggressive expansion out into the solar system, setting up bases on moons around Saturn, the Kuiper Belts, and etc. Capable of time travel, the Space Germans also traveled back in time to settle on planets around the galaxy.
Now there's 3 billion people, humans, that live off-world under various German SSP groups protected by the Nachtwaffen, translated meaning Dark Fleet.
People who are forced into the secret space program are called MILABs, aka military abductees. These people are chosen because they are special and often because they are psychically gifted in some way. Around 30% of MILABs are SSP officers, and 70% of them are used as slaves. Individuals are abducted and can be used as just about anything in the SSP. Super soldiers, pilots, remote viewers, assassins, scientists, forced laborers, and even slaves. So, there you have it. That's a basic breakdown of...
Okay, so that is you know, like the setup to his documentary, and I wanted to show that because it pretty much in a nutshell summarizes you know, the super soldier program, and also you know, the folklore of it. And hi Geo, and you know, and how that mythology happened, and that James Rink was very much a part of that. So when I created these songs on Astral Records, these songs were, you know, based on this folklore. And I just ran all these stories in these songs. And so I'm going to play them. I'm going to take a really quick break, and we're going to get back. We're going to talk about some of the medical devices and some of the things that that also happened with the Super Soldier program, where they had merch, healing merch, and things to help people that I'm saying these devices aren't really on the level, but we'll get right back. Okay.
Indigenous insectoids weaving you the void, drought in your brain, making you insane. Wrapping up Benjamin Fulford, living the absurd like a blue avian nerd, keeping the lines blurred. Captain Mark Richards, a secret space program grifter, getting married while in prison, making you listen, create a new religion, doing the reptilian, making you forget my sins. Super soldier talks in prison, Nordic and Draco, shape shifting in my Winnebago. Indigenous insectoids weaving you the void, drown in your brain, making you insane. Wrapping the Benjamin Fulford, living the absurd like a blue aviator, keeping the lines wrapping like Benjamin Fulford, living the absurd like a blue aviator, keeping the lines blurred. Rapping like Benjamin Fulford. Word. Extraterrestrial hybridized DNA. Don't need to worry about tooth decay. Kevin Spacey and his clone are feeling alone. Men who stare at goats. The Real Society Road. Super Soldier Sunday, just another fun day. 75 years on Mars, lying about the stars. Captain Richard charms like Charles Manson's gun.
John, Benjamin Fulford was like one of the OG, one of the OG people out there talking about this stuff. In fact, I've got another. I got another thing here that this guy's covering Okie stories, and he kind of starts here.
Okay, open up your textbook.
Same thing, right? So he's got this going on, and that I just showed all of this part, right? And yeah, he's basically covering the same thing here. But there's one part where we get to, I thought he had like Benjamin Fulford talking for a second. I don't know. Maybe I should look up Benjamin Fulford. Is there anything out there still in Benjamin Fulford? Let me see if I can find it. Benjamin, I know this is. You brought up Benjamin Fulford. I want to find a clip of his if I can. Here he is. Wow, he's still around. He still has stuff. It looks like Benjamin Fulford. Oh my God! Let's look at. I'm so glad you brought this up. Let's look at Benjamin Fulford for a second, okay? This is current Benjamin Fulford.
And they're enjoying their Boxing Day. The situation, I have to admit, looks very, very dystopian right now, and a lot of people are despairing. Wondering when is this horror show going to end, and there is a lot that is going on behind the scenes that I cannot talk about, but let's just see if we start, some very prominent people. But there is a lot of fighting going on behind the scenes. And in a sign that this horror show is going to end, we have seen the Epstein files dumped. For example, if you look at this one.
Wow. Okay. So let me go back. I wonder if we can find some like old school Benjamin Fulford, like old school. Does he have old clips of himself? How far back does this go? Here he is here. What's happening here?
Hello, this is Benjamin Fulford, 2025. It's Halloween, which is really the Celtic New Year, and we are actually entering an age where it might become the actual New Year again, because we're dealing with the end of a project that's been going on for thousands of years, and it could, end up with even the calendars being changed. But
okay, interesting. I don't know. I those of you who may not know who Benjamin Fulford is, this isn't maybe not that interesting to you, but it is to me. I'm trying to see if I can find like some old Benjamin Fulford. Here, what's this?
Hello, this is Benjamin Fulford's. This week, I took a trip to a remote train station in Japan, and then from there, a 1-hour car drive to
Okay, anyway, that's enough. I'm gonna fall off of that. Oh my God. And then that's his channel. Q&A. What's the Q&A here? The hidden coup, the real President Trump was replaced. Huh. Well, he's still at it. All right. That's something to acknowledge, I suppose. I'm gonna stop this share here. All right, so I want to show you. He had his own business. We're back to James Rink, And this is a website. It's Neological Technologies. And here's a kind of a cube here. And it, you know, it says, get your arc light quantum meditation computer, maximize health and wellness, unlock cosmic codes, harmonize mind, body, and spirit, relieve yourself of stress, order now. Meditation tools for the human mind and body spirit. So this is a new monastery IDL 22 manifestation abundance cube, I suppose. And it goes for $2,200. It's from $1,945 to $2,290. So I'm clicking onto it here. One user, pyramid, monastery, blue diamond, Shanghai crystals, psychic activator stones, green peridot, yellow apatite, blue azurite, purple sugilite, auralite, Aaron's breastplate stones. Wow, $2,000 for that. Help you meditate. In a rush, get 10% off. Huh. The Monastery Ideal 80 Meditation Super Cube, 3D printed, and that goes for $8,700. And there were, I saw videos, I've done commentary on this before about how James Rink was, you know, selling devices that were supposed to use frequencies for healing. But I mean, I hate to say it, and I know that I might make a lot of people angry, but he died really young. So, I mean, these guys were pushing, James Rink was pushing med beds. All right? Med beds where people can lie in it and get rejuvenated and grow grow another limb. They're all saying this. Like, why should any of them die if they were on the forerunner of these products? I mean, I have to say this. Look at this. A triangle. I mean, that's so, isn't that kind of like Illuminati right there? Quartz skull, Shanghai crystal, activate guide. It is believed by UFOologists that some NASA photographs show extraterrestrial starships entering our solar system by transporting through a wormhole inside the sun. It appears all suns are wormholes, and these wormholes are connected with the great central sun in the center of our Milky Way galaxy, in which all life emanates from sun gazers and breatharians. People who do not need to eat food believe that by gazing and meditating upon the sun, they can tune in to the higher dimensional frequencies that are coming from outside of our solar system in order to raise their vibration. And, you know, it goes on. How much is this one again? Oh, this one's only $650. Only $650 for this one. This a device to help you meditate. Meditation cubes. Learn more. What is Neo? A neological solution for our divine biomind. Introduction. The art of relaxation is the universal music of our own soul, which brings intimate connection to our divine unlimited potential. Guys, sounds like Sarah Rachel Adams. Mediation, prayer, and hypnosis are just some examples of tools at our disposal, which can alter our reality through the law of attraction. Okay, let's bring law of attraction in there. So it's transcendental meditation, mindfulness meditation, and energy healing. Mediation techniques are new or foreign concepts to you, or if you are looking for even more intense meditation style, then you have come to the right place. Learning to how to meditate for beginners, advanced students, and the holistic healer alike has never been made easier until now. And I do believe also that when he was doing a super soldier conference contact where you were, he's going to have a meeting with you to determine whether or not you are a super soldier, he charged like $200 for that. I mean, he wasn't doing it for free, right? Free Neo meditations, meditation cubes. Let's see. The following is a list of meditation devices available in the Neological Tech products page. This is meant as a guide for those who are indecisive of what unit type to claim as their own. If you'd like to learn how the technology works, also be sure to read What is Neo. And Neological Tech meditation devices are designed for individuals who are seeking to improve their health by reducing stress. First-time users will notice an increased sense of peace and relaxation when the sensations and love will stay with you during conscious waking life. The main aim of the device is to relax, but everyone will have their own unique variation of experiences. Whew. I'm not reading all of it because I'm just giving you like an overview of like what he was selling on this website. He has this book here called Lone Wolf. Lone Wolf chronicles the alien hybrid super warrior program known as the My Lab of military abduction. These experiments are carried out under the direction of the covert government and off-world forces who seek to create the ultimate Ubermensch, a superhuman invincible in every way. Learning resources, customer support, psychic ability activation. Let's see. What is that saying there? Darn it. Okay. Some individuals new to meditation in the metaphysical and general way may be energy sensitive. They may find themselves purchasing various healing tools, hoping it will immediately solve all their problems, while yet not realizing that good things only come to those who are willing to do the work. I guess it's one way of saying that your device isn't working, right? You're not doing the work. If this describes you, then please continue reading. If you have tried radionics machines, a neo meditation cube, crystals, devices such as healing wands or skulls, copper pyramids, orgone blasters, etc., and continue to wonder why I am not feeling anything, it's because your etheric DNA is not fully activated. What you see is the physical dimension is only one reflection of who you are. The real you, or your soul, is operating as a single unit, scattered throughout the other dimensions, parallel realities, and timelines. Sometimes blocks are created from trauma, whether in this life or another. No matter the source, you have the power to overcome them. But first, you must allow yourself to accept the belief system we are more than physical bodies, and that is when the magic happens. These thought forms then pass into the etheric matrix that surrounds our dimension, and through love vibration brings to bend reality with help from our spirit guides and guardian angels. Oh, let's bring our spirit guides and guardian angels in this. Provided you have taken this first step and accepted the belief system that you are psychic, then try this exercise, which will help activate and palm chakra so that you can begin to feel chi energy while using your Neo meditation device. Start by rubbing your hands together and then imagine a dagger cutting a hole horizontal and vertical within your palm chakras. This will create a shape, a plus shape that will open you up to the other realms. Be sure to repeat this simple exercise before each meditation, and you will begin feeling the chi energy flowing through your palms. And I'm wondering if anybody, hey, is there anybody out there that has these devices? 30-day returns for non-customized units. International customers, no customs or taxes. So that is like one of the things that he was selling on the internet. John says, you know what I found always funny was these guys were like the worst of us, yet chosen to save the universe. Yes, they say they are. Yes, it doesn't work if it's your fault. You're not a positive enough or broken. Yeah. There is also I believe it was Super Soldier Forum, Super Soldier Talk WordPress. Yeah, we're going to get to that here in a second. I think this is it. Yeah, this is an RIP by James Rink of Super Soldier Talk. But what's interesting to me is he talks about James Rink giving him one of his devices. I know Nate Gray. I've interviewed Nate Gray before over the past few years. I still communicate with him. So he published this on November 30th. It says, I will miss James Rink. He interviewed me in 2013 in person in an apartment in Georgia. I bought a Neo Cube. So he did buy a cube from him and had dinner with him. His website used to link to my Super Soldier forum. He was also a member of the forum. Okay, let's see. Even though he seldom used it, I noticed he made good use of my friends list, interviewing people on it, and had found me through the forum. But when the forum was more active, usually I would forward my contacts to him, and in turn, he would sometimes recommend people he met for me to interview. We had a symbiotic relationship at that time, and there's a picture of them, and here he is. He's holding one of the cubes. So Nate bought one of his cubes. I'm going to ask Nate I should have asked him. Ask Nate how that cube worked for him. James Rink would raise money by selling his Neo Cube meditation device. It was a white cube with a triangle on it. Inside the cube was a ball covered in styrofoam. It had butterfly wings in it for some reason. He gave one to one of the female friends that appeared to have a penis shape in it, but thankfully there was not a penis shape in my cube. He had much more expensive cubes, but he sold me to the Skullum, which came with a crystal skull. The only event James invited me to was at Montauk. I was going to DEF CON in Las Vegas at the time, so I couldn't make it. He never invited me to speak at his events, and I never requested to be part of them. When I agreed to speak at the Full Disclosure Conference, he removed supersoldierforum.com from his site. I think it was done because he was upset at me for speaking at an event that he was banished from. That was the last time I communicated directly with him that I can remember at the moment. I was sad to see the message below on his wall recently. Prior to September 25th, 2025, my health was completely normal. Then suddenly my body began to swell. And on October 15, I was taken to the hospital. My heart rate was 185 and I was in AFib. I stayed for 1 day of testing. The results show that my liver is functioning at only 32% and my heart injection fraction is at 57. I was also diagnosed with Graves' disease due to extremely low TSH levels. The doctors told me I have roughly a 50% chance of surviving the next 3 months. I am now in month 2. And that's where I read all that part. I mentioned it earlier. It was actually from what Nate Gray posted. The Super Soldier Activation Conference began on October 8th, and I was released just in time to attempt and keep things moving forward. Before September 25th, I lived a very healthy lifestyle. I juiced daily with lemon, celery, cilantro, apple, and other fresh produce. I ate primarily organic homemade meals and mainly drank water, orange juice, and homemade iced tea. I rarely consumed alcohol, only on holidays. I also trained at the gym 5 days a week, and it goes on. It says here, as my heart, I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure, and the reduced pumping function makes it difficult to walk and talk, causing fluid buildup in my legs. I cannot tolerate the medications they've given me for this. I personally believe the heart muscle is fine, but that the vena cava nerve leading into the ventricles was damaged, possibly from heart attack type weapon in late September. My thyroid readings resemble what you might expect from someone exposed to Chernobyl radiation levels. So before he died, he was basically kind of putting these sort of conspiracy theories reasons for his illness. So in a way, when people are spinning this narrative about his death, he kind of propped it up before he went. To add this, 2 of our conference guest speakers experienced strokes and 2 other reported heart issues. There is something very serious and very targeted attempting to shut down disclosure. I'm now working closely with a team of holistic healers and a plan on recovering, returning stronger. James Rink. The internet just informed everyone his death today, Sunday, November 30th, 2025. I had heard he was in trouble from a friend of his long time ago, and he didn't know it would lead to this. Perhaps he was killed because of his disclosure work. So, yeah. I'm just kind of shocked that he's actually really passed away. Man talk. Is it pronounced man talk? Montauk. Man talk. Meet me in a hotel room. Insiders look into them. Same. But his mind was gone, and that crap, the body will follow eventually. That's what John says. I'm glad you guys are here because we're the geeks that have been following this phenomenon this long, and then calling bullshit on it internally. I want to show how I love you too, Gio. I love you too. It's kind of personal in a way, right? And it is for me too. It is for me too. I've been around this for a long time, and I wanted to when he passed away. I mean, it's been like more than a month now. I didn't want to go something right away, and of course, it's hard to talk about. You have to be really ginger when you talk about somebody that a lot of people loved, but at the same time still criticize it and look at it and find that balance today. So I'm hoping that I'm doing it right. Very young, weird. He was just gone. Yeah, it's just weird. I mean, he was a very big influence. I think his channel had like 85K, somewhere in there. He had a lot of subscribers, although, according to how big a channel can get, he was still considered a small person, or had a small, like a fringe kind of following. But for the fringe following that he had, he was quite prevalent in it. There's a guy that sometimes I follow. His name is, well, I do subscribe to him. His name is Richard Bruce, and he's kind of fascinating to me because he's really into the reptilian thing. And the first time I ever noticed him was when I was looking at a Vice documentary about targeted people, and he basically lives. He's basically kind of a homeless person, really. I mean, he lives in a trailer, And I had this all ready to go. And oh, wait, I know where it's at. I had it in here. Hold on. Let me just pull this up. Here it is. So, yeah, I'm going to kind of skip through because he goes through like a lot of, I want to get to where he starts to talk about James Rink. Okay. Let me pull this up. He was a big follower of James Rink. So I just want to show just what his thoughts were on this.
Dark forces never.
Okay, I don't want music. Here we go.
Apparently from heart trouble, and upon further information we find out it's some kind of attack. But there's more information from that pretty interesting lady on the Beyond Top Secret channel on Rumble, and she gave some kind of more in-depth information. Maybe I'll play some of that here, but I can't verify any of it. She seems like the real deal to me, and she's had a lot of interesting stuff to say. She had interviews with actually the deceased James Casbolt, so who knows, maybe she can get another one of those and get talk with James. But she said that in essence that he's in a good place, and he's like decompressing from this life, and he didn't get
And this is what a lot of people do when somebody passes on. They're also communicating with them from the other side. Again, David Schroeder, that's an example of a person who's like in this. It's, communicating with Max Spears, communicating how much there. When Max died, there were all these people that were channeling him. It's still happening. This is a common theme that people in this pocket of YouTube will do.
Caught into one of these soul trap things, something or other. I don't know how, what the details were.
My feeling is that this is my take. He knew he was sick for a while. You can tell even in here that he has lost a considerable amount of weight, and he's not even looking well here, I don't think. And so you can see, like, if you were to look at him physically for a while, he was not looking well. So I think it was more than just like, hey, I'm not feeling good, and then 3 months later you're not okay.
Of that, but we know that there's like this negative trap that souls get caught into. Apparently she said that he didn't get that, and that there was some kind of beacon that he left for some of his fellow light workers or whatever to pick him up. Now again, I don't know any of all this. What I do know, however, is that there was nobody like him. And I'm just shocked that he's gone so soon. I thought he'd be trucking for a long time, and he was a young man, 45, guys. Just for reference, I'm 55. But I thought he would be. I found him as one of my first and most interesting sources of information about what's going on behind the scenes that I ever found, starting in 2013, and remained so up to this day. And he continued to get these interviews with people that were bravely coming forward. Joseph Powell, all these people, Penny Bradley, so many, Hendricks, that guy Hendricks, so many, way too many, I couldn't even begin. Which reminds me that, I hope someone steps up to continue the work that he was doing. And that's kind of, I'm saying that kind of, it's a little bit risky, because he just got through talking about how the people that come forward aren't lasting too long. Like he was talking about, this person died, that person died, and the other person died, just a little while ago, and then he dies. But it's it's actually kind of surreal. I'm just like kind of a little bit shocked by it. Like, I'm whoa, he's really gone. I mean, I can't believe it. He's like been a staple of my life really for the last 13 years. Ever since I found him in 2013, you know, when I was initially.
And it kind of breaks my heart in a way to hear that he was a staple of people's lives. And I know that's probably the good thing about him, but he wasn't really telling the truth, really. You know, he was selling devices that weren't maybe medically safe. He was giving people false hope, and he was making a profit off of it. And on top of that, he was promoting the 17th letter of the alphabet. And we're going to get back right after this. And after this really quick break, I'm going to play my medbed song, because this kind of falls into this myth of medbeds and the Trump administration, being behind it. And that's what inspired this song. So we'll be right back.
Deal. In a world of pain, a whisper starts to bloom of a secret chamber chasing away all gloom. They call them med beds, a futuristic dream. Med beds. Med beds. A promise so grand, but no real photos, just one giant hologram. They say they're coming, $1 billion plan. Don't show up in my scans, med beds. A promise so grand, but no real photos, just one giant hologram. They say they're coming, $1 billion plan. Don't show up in my scans. Police say Tesla built them in a lab far away, or aliens brought them for a brighter new day. Hidden in tunnels by the deep state's own hand, hoarded by the wealthy across the whole land. QAnon voices on Telegram, they shout, Trump will release them, no reason to doubt. A benevolent military will roll out the plan, free for all citizens, every woman and man. Oh, med beds.
Med beds, a promise so grand, but no real photos, just sand in your hand. A jumble of buzzwords, a child Star Trek plea, quantum frequencies for all to be free. But if it sounds too good, it's a dangerous art, a mirage for the desperate, breaking every heart.
They talk of bad frequencies and good to restore, a science that simply makes no sense anymore. The FDA warns us of devices unproven, hucksters and scams, their true motives are woven, charging small fees for a bed that's not there, leaving folks empty, lost in despair. When real help is needed, they turn you away for a fictional cure that will never see day. Oh, med beds.
Med beds, a promise so grand, but no real photos, just sand in your hand. A jumble of buzzwords, a child Star Trek plea, quantum frequencies for all to be free. But if it sounds too good, it's a dangerous art, a mirage for the desperate, breaking every heart.
So look for the evidence, the truth in the light. Don't fall for the fantasy in the dark of the night. For true healing comes from science and care, not from a med bed floating in thin air. Med beds! 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 Med beds!
All right, welcome back to Not My Rabbit Hole. And just a couple things I want to point out is, for many of us who are outsiders, right? This all sounds really bizarre and even laughable, and it often is. The lore is filled with references to the super soldier lore is filled with references to pop culture, science fiction, pseudosciences, but dismissing it outright misses something important, that these stories serve a function. For many, they are a way to process trauma. The language of my labs, military abductions, and MK Ultra style programming offers a mythic framework for real feelings of alienation, abuse, or disempowerment. The super soldier mythos provides not just an explanation, but a sense of purpose. You weren't a victim, you were a warrior. You weren't broken, you were programmed. And this is where James Rink's role becomes pivotal. He wasn't just a broadcaster, he was a myth keeper. His interviews created a canon. Patterns emerged, terminology spread. Newcomers could recognize themselves in other stories, and in doing so, find identity and belonging. In many ways, Super Soldier Talk became more than a YouTube series, it became a sanctuary. And my thought is that sanctuary was not based on fact, and it wasn't honest. I realize that there might be a lot of people who are traumatized. Maybe there are people that have something going on that I don't want to say that I don't believe in any of it, right? But most of what I think James Rinks was projecting was embellished. It was fantasy. Notice how in some of those videos, some of the footage, matter of fact, I think I'm going to run some of it in the background again while I'm talking, shows them in big old space suits and they're heroes. Everybody wants to be a hero, right? Everybody wants to be a hero. Let me push this back.
Open up your textbooks.
This is the same footage as before, but it's going to go through it again. Well, who doesn't want to go online and come out as an SSSP whistleblower? And if you were a person that is lonely, you're online, maybe you have things that have happened to you that feel like they're similar to this, and you want to identify yourself with something like this. It's very hypnotic, and again, it becomes like a religion to some people. It certainly does. It really, really does. Now, I want to go into some of the things that had to do with the 17th letter of the alphabet. I always found it interesting for me when there were talks of this nature going on by people that I started out with. And again, I see James Rink as being adjacent to what I was talking about and what was happening on Revolution Radio. And you have people like Sean Stone and Carrie Cassidy going full on 17th letter of the alphabet tard. And, to the point where Carrie Cassidy's saying that Wano Saban is John F. K. Jr., that he really wasn't killed, that this is the real person, some overweight cowboy, at conferences. I'm just... And then you had James Rink doing similar things. So stop this for a second. I'm going to take you to a few receipts of how he promoted the 17th letter of the alphabet, how somehow the super soldier program intersect with Donald Trump and the Trump administration. and all of that conspiracy. So here he is talking about the plane flew in circular pattern around Ketron Island that resembled a 17th letter of the alphabet before crashing. That's one of the things that he is saying there. And, you know, his platform amplified core 17th letter of the alphabet beliefs, and he even hosted personalities popular within the 17th letter of the alphabet community. Content on Super Soldier Talk often mirrored the 17th letter meta narrative of hidden war against an evil cabal. For instance, in August of 2018, Rink published an intel briefing on the site about a mysterious plane crash in Washington state, which read like the 17th letter of the alphabet drop decode. It claimed that the crash was a cover for secret military strike on a deep state bunker, complete with an F-15 jet destroying an underground cabal hideout, and a plane flying in a Q-shaped path during the operation. And I just showed you that receipt. The most explicitly cited Q post by number and link to Q drop archives, leading the 17th letter of the alphabet clues into a dramatic story of President Trump's survival and satanic pedophiles being routed out. This indicates Rink was not only aware of the 17th letter of the alphabet mythos, but actively retelling it on his platform. I'm going to share another example of this here, because I've taken a couple of things that I want to share. This one is you can see here he's talking about the submarine, and let me show you. The submarine that the 17th letter person posted back in June was the USS Richard B. Russell, a Sturgeon-class submarine that was decommissioned in Washington State. So that is, and this is from his Super Soldier Talk forum website. This is posted on August 14th. Moreover, Rink gave a stage for guests who themselves were 17th letter of the alphabet promoters or aligned with its themes. He collaborated with or interviewed individuals notorious to the 17th letter of the alphabet space, such as Gene Decode, real name Gene Kasensai, a figure known for decoding 17th letter of the alphabet drops about deep underground military bases. In March 2025, Rink conducted a lengthy interview with Gene Decode on Super Soldier Talk about liberating underground bases and rescuing trafficked children, directly overlapping with QAnon's narrative of secret child rescue operations. Rink has also worked alongside Michael Jaco, big time 17th letter of the alphabet pusher. In fact, he was involved with Simon Parks and David Zublik and a woman named Mel Cole. They would hijack these, I guess, buy these turnkey Asian cooking channels, Asian Indian cooking channels that had 350 subscribers, and then throw their stuff out on top of it. And this was happening around 2019, 2020. This was going on. So Michael Jaco was a big time person in that. He is a former Navy SEAL turned conspiritual influencer who exposes 17th letter of the alphabet like claims, Jacob appeared with Rink to promote a 2025 Super Soldier Conference and shares similar Patriot audiences. Additionally, Rink's site cross-posted sensational claims from 17th letter of the alphabet aligned sources. For example, one article in mid-2020 repeated an unverified allegation from a notorious 17th letter of the alphabet affiliated whistleblower that Congress Adam Schiff had abused a child, which was a classic 17th letter of the alphabet trope. Rink's willingness to host 17th letter of the alphabet influencers and propagate extreme 17th letter of the alphabet narratives, elite pedophile rings, covert military tribunals suggest a heavy overlap between Super Soldier Talk content and 17th letter of the alphabet conspiratorial universe. And I'm going to go ahead and play this in the background a little bit here as I'm speaking more on the connection that he had with the 17th letter of the alphabet. After mainstream sites began cracking down on the 17th letter of the alphabet content around 2020 and 2021, James Rink and his community pivoted to alternative platforms where 17th letter of the alphabet themed posts continued. Rink's videos and updates migrated to outlets like BitChute, Rumble, and Telegram, often accompanied by 17th letter of the alphabet hashtags and slogans. For example, the BitChute description for his Nasara documentary included tags such as "Where we go, when we go, all," "Trust the plan," 17th letter of the alphabet updates, and "The Storm," explicitly positioning the video within the 17th movement lexicon. On Twitter, X, QAnon promoters have shared Rink's content with these same hashtags. A 2022 tweet from user Patriot Sonia circulates Rink's Nasara film link appended with "Where we go, when we go, all," and so on. And there's Telegram. So James Rink's engagement with QAnon appears largely supportive and enthusiastic rather than neutral or merely incidental. From early 2018 onward, he treated the 17th letter as the serious source of intel worthy of analysis on Super Soldier Talk. The tone of his related segments was credulous and amplifying. For instance, his 17th letter alphabet news update show treated the 17th letter of the alphabet drops and conspiracy rumors as important updates, not debunking them. Likewise, the language on Rink's site mirrored 17th letter of the alphabet's militant optimism, often without skepticism. In the Catron Island article, the author Rink, or contributor, exclaims that none of this could be publicly exposed, but assures readers that the covert operation was successful. I'm going to share that tab here, and I think you guys get the point that he was pushing. Oh, you can see it. Oh no, that's a different one. I think this is. I don't know if I pulled it here. Huh. Wait. There's a lot of tabs I could show you. I'm looking at something and you're not. I'm sorry. Jaco was promoted by Bill Brockbrader, who also is on the FBI's most wanted list for real child molestation. He didn't register. Oh, That'd be cool if you made me a rap. That would be very good. Cool. Oh yeah, Carrie. Scammer. Yeah. Let me see what I got here. I'm going to let that go. I don't need that open. Okay. Okay, that's... Okay, that's what I want. Which one's this one? That's what I want to show you. Okay, yeah, it's still part of it. All right, yeah. Let me just show you this one thing here about more RV intelligence alert, interesting claims. This is the whole island crash thing, but you can see where he's sharing a 17th letter of the alphabet post right here. Catch a message, think missile, do you believe in coincidences? So he's totally aligning this to the 17th letter of the alphabet conspiracy. And then I also have the what he said here about Adam Schiff. So I want to show you that one too. I just had it on there. Here it is. Adam Schiff. I'm not going to read it, but you can see that was also a 17th letter of the alphabet conspiracy. So yeah, he did, along with, I just find it really interesting that that whole community, super soldier community, because it didn't start that way. When it started back in, like, let's say 2013, 2014, in there, it was kind of, picking up maybe as early as 2012 with Duncan O'Finian. I'm thinking maybe as early as 2012. Maybe a little bit before that. When Carrie Cassidy came on the scene and Miles came out, and then you had David Wilcock. They weren't sharing 17th letter of the alphabet stuff, but they all ended up doing it, including David Wilcock. He's still doing it. And he had a 17th letter of the alphabet free ebook. That's David Wilcock. And I've always felt the need to say something about that. So, anyways, I hope you guys really enjoyed looking back at James Rink and the super soldier phenomena. And that his passing, I mean, like, one of the questions is like, is somebody going to take over? Is there going to be, like, what is going to happen to the super soldier mythology with James Rink being gone? And I know there seems to be new people out there. There's new voices. There seems to be new generations that will be carrying on his legacy, pretty much. And here we are. I am sad to see that he's passed away, and obviously, I don't want to say, oh, he was a bad person all the way around. I have a hard time when you make up lies to people and give them a false reality and a false identification, is it really wrong to do those things? Is it wrong to mislead people? I think so in a certain way, especially when you're confusing it with right-wing politics and giving people a false narrative of what maybe they think reality is. I think the good part about it is that there are people that don't feel as lonely because they hung out with him. It looks like he brought a lot of joy to people. But where does that leave us, really? The super soldier mythos isn't going away. If anything, it's evolving. New platforms will arise, new storytellers will emerge. But the groundwork James Rink laid, the archive he built, the voices he amplified, remain a central part of the strange corner of modern myth making. It is a community of where people feel identified. He did touch a lot of people's hearts in many ways, so I don't really want to criticize that. It looks like he had family that loved him. It looks like he was was fun and the life of the party and had all these different sides to him. I have a problem with selling devices that may not be curing anybody and misleading somebody just because you're making a profit off of it. Did he really believe in those products? Was he duped in some way? But from the get-go, there was always something that James Rink was selling to people. Nobody goes in the super soldier, like many of the people that have led the super soldier program or any of these types of shows, they've all made money. They've all made money. And it's okay to make money for your work. By the way, if you want to give me a super chat or a super thanks for what I do here on Not My Rabbit Hole, or give my, hype up this video or share it or like it or however, there still needs to be an amount of integrity. I think we need to come to a place of integrity. Why are you saying what you're saying? Are you misleading people? Are you actually harming people in the long run by selling them a fake healing device or giving them false promise for diseases that they should go see a physician for? Not all doctors are bad. There are all kinds of different ways to heal, where you want to use different modalities of healing. But let's get real here. If you're giving something, promising something based on a pseudoscience that doesn't exist, you're basically a snake oil salesman. And, with these super soldier forums and having conferences with people with $200 and putting on events, and all of that is money making. And this super soldier forum and all of this has been a money making for certain people. Whether it may not have gone to all the speakers that go up and speak, but somebody, either it's the person putting it together or whatever, somebody's turning a profit over this myth making. And so there's different sides to all of this. There are a lot of people that are within these communities that I actually really like. Do I believe in what they believe in? No. Are they bad people? No. What makes somebody bad? What makes somebody dishonest? What makes somebody needing to be called out? Let's say like a Sarah Rachel Adams, who did a mushroom ritual, another also super soldier, where she was intubated and somebody else was intubated and somebody nearly died. Like, these are the things that need to be spoken about. And he was selling healing products and he died. I just want to say that, like, his own products did not make him well. And I think that that's something that should be recognized. What he was doing was fucked up in all sorts of ways. And what they do hurts people. Yes. Yeah, it does. The wellness industry needs to be reined in. Like I said, it dwarfs the pharma industry. Yeah, misinformation is misinformation, dead beds. And so in many ways, there are a lot of things about James that I did not like, and I didn't like what he did. That being said, at the same time, I kind of want to, I'm fascinated by him and what he did and how he did it and who he was. He was an enigmatic person in a digital culture that he was very much a part of creating. So thank you for listening to Not My Rabbit Hole today. Please like and share. I appreciate you guys all who are in the chat, Mr. My Words and Gio and John. It's always good to see you here. I thought maybe you would show up today, and I'll see you guys next time.
He ain't no Saint Germain, no crown, no name. He plays the game sharp as a flame. Who's to blame for the stolen fame? A shadow dance in the devil's frame. Go in the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on a stripper pole. Laughing loud, all for the lows, but baby, that's not my rabbit hole. City lights and sirens scream, truth and lies blend like a dream. Wicked smiles, a clever scheme, chasing gold in the neon gleam. Go in the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud, all for the lows, but baby, that's not my rabbit hole. Fast, can't find the ground. Echoes of chaos all around. You chose this dance, this mad parade, but not every choice gets accolades. Go in the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud, all for the lows, but baby, that's not my rabbit hole. Laughing loud, all for the lows, but baby, that's not my rabbit hole. City lights and sirens scream, truth and lies blend like a dream. Wicked smiles, a clever scheme, chasing gold in the neon gleam. Going down the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud, all for the lows, but baby, that's not my rabbit hole.